I was actually kind of surprised by the Gen Z approach and, some of what they were saying at the end of the day.
They're leading by example. Why are they not leading by example with AI?
I'm working on it. That's the next deliverable. Peter and yoga poses. Yeah, no.
That drives me nuts because that is reinforcing the false idea in people's heads that you can just say a few words and get something valuable. The evidence that came out of this report was so fascinating because on one hand, back to our senior leaders, right? High confidence in meeting their objectives, high confidence in change management. But then, remember we said in the beginning that the survey surveyed senior managers and then surveyed line of business workers. What did the line of business workers say? Did their results, obviously you know the answer is going to be no, but did their results match up to what the senior leaders said?
Oh, not even close.
Right.
Not even close. I was actually kind of surprised by the Gen Z approach and, some of what they were saying at the end of the day. And I think, because you and I have always said generationally, it's going to change. The younger ones are going to embrace it far more readily over time. I think because it's new tech, they're going to get used to it. And I think that does bear out, but they're also very afraid to admit it and afraid to use it. I think I might use it to acknowledge that they're using it because they're afraid of their futures and their jobs. So they're more prone to say they did it themselves.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting one. I think you're right. They have a similar behavior to the senior executives, which is not being completely forthcoming about the use of AI. But there's this more driven by fear that they're going to get replaced by AI. There's a fear that the entire generation will, eventually be displaced by AI. And here's the interesting thing: more of them use it. This survey found 89% of Gen Z employees use AI frequently at work. But the catch is, and we've touched on this before, other studies have shown this, they're actually using often unsanctioned tools, right?
Yep.
So they're not.
Yep.
And I want to come back to why you think they're using unsanctioned tools. I have my suspicions, but let's talk about the other part of that. They also said only less than 10% of them had received what they called extensive amounts of training. And look, my experience has borne this out. I have seen companies roll out ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, whatever tool, and they give people, maybe a 30-minute online training session and access to some like self-serve training materials and call it done.
Right.
Okay. Right. But let me ask you.
We see a lot of that.
Why do you think if a Gen Z employee came to you and said, yeah, look, I got to admit to you privately, I'm using AI every day, but I'm not using the tools my employer provides me. I'm using my own tools. Why do you think they do that?
Oh, they're not getting access to the best of breed tools. I think they're getting access to, usually it's Copilot because it's embedded in the application, but they're not getting access to ChatGPT fully or Claude or any of the other models out there that are incredibly powerful. They're just not getting access to them to do the types of work that they want to do. So they wind up going on their phones and doing what they need to do and, difficult, just cut and pasting it over, copying it over by hand. And I think that's a lot of what you're saying. Because, and as you and I as well know, there are a large number of excellent tools out there that there is no way any organization would ever allow their use.
Right. No, I think you're exactly right. I think the tools that are implemented or provided to them are either not fully rolled out, they're handicapped, they've got features deactivated, or they're just not using the best of breed tools. And I think generally a lot of younger workers are savvy enough already to know and follow. They know that there are better tools available and they're going to find 100%. A way to use them.
Absolutely. And they're not, and like you said, look, they're not getting trained. None of them are getting trained properly, I should say. So they're using these unsanctioned tools, untrained, so they're not using them even to their max potential. So what are you getting at the end of the day? Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us over on YouTube. And make sure to stay up to date with us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well.